All right, let's jump right in. We're starting with a story that was a total geopolitical earthquake, a massive raid right in the heart of Venezuela. But, buried inside that huge news story is something else, a technological mystery. It's about this ghost-like aircraft that, well, it's the reason the whole thing even worked.
The first real sign of just how intense this raid was didn't even come from the US or Venezuela. Nope, it came from Havana. This pretty dramatic announcement pops up on Cuban state TV, and suddenly it's clear the stakes were unbelievably high. We're talking about Cuban security forces loyal to the very end, fighting and dying to protect Venezuela's president.
So that brings us to the raid itself. What exactly happened here? Well, it all kicked off with this incredible overnight operation. And I mean, this thing caught everybody completely off guard. U.S. Special Forces pull off this lightning-fast raid on the capital, Caracas. And their goal? To capture a sitting president, Nicolas Maduro. Just wow. An absolutely audacious mission. But once the dust started to settle, a whole new question started to pop up. Yeah, so while all the politicians and the news anchors are arguing about the fallout, you had military analysts who were buzzing about something totally different. Something strange that was seen in the sky right after. So what was this thing? This weird tailless aircraft? As the Special Forces were getting Maduro out of there, this one sighting kicked off a whole technological detective story. And pretty soon, the clues started rolling in. Okay, clue number one. The first piece of real evidence we got was from an aviation spotter down in Puerto Rico. This person actually caught video of this gray flying wing-style drone landing at Roosevelt Roads Naval Station. And that location is key. It's a huge U.S. forward operating base. So boom, right there we know this mystery plane is American, and it was definitely involved in the raid. Then came clue number two, and this one was a classic slip-up, a little OPSEC failure. Months before the raid even happened, the Air Force posted a photo online, and in it, there's an officer wearing a patch with the silhouette of this exact drone on it. Whoops! They deleted it super fast, but not before analysts grabbed it and confirmed it linked the drone to the very command structure that was getting ready for ops in Latin America. The cat was out of the bag. So with those clues, the identity of this mystery aircraft was pretty much a done deal. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the anatomy of this ghost. All right, here it is, the RQ-170 Sentinel. This thing was developed in total secrecy by the absolute legends at Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works. It got its famous nickname, the Beast of Kandahar, after it was first spotted over Afghanistan. And let me tell you, this thing is basically the peak of stealth surveillance tech. So the big question is, how does it stay invisible? Well, it's kind of like a three-part magic trick. First up is the shape. It's a flying wing, which means no tail, nothing vertical sticking up that can bounce a radar signal back where it came from. Simple, but brilliant. Second, you've got its skin. Over 90% of this thing is made of these advanced composite materials that basically act like a sponge for radar energy. They just soak it right up. And third, and this is super clever, the engine's air intake is on top of the body and it's S-shaped. Why? To hide the spinning metal fan blades of the engine, a huge radar reflector from any prying eyes on the ground. And get this, it's got the wingspan of a small airliner, but its real secret weapon? Altitude. This thing operates at 50,000 feet. We're talking almost 10 miles straight up, way, way above where commercial jets fly. From up there, it can just hang out for hours, totally invisible to anyone on the ground, and well out of reach of a lot of air defense systems. But look, being a ghost isn't its only trick. The real power is what's packed inside, its senses. It has a special kind of radar that can literally see through clouds, smoke, even trees, to create these almost photographic images. Then you've got the high-def video sensors for day or night, and maybe the coolest part? Passive sensors that are like giant electronic ears. They can listen for enemy radar, pick up communications, map out entire networks, all without making a single electronic peep itself. It's the ultimate eavesdropper. Now, this raid in Caracas, this was not the Sentinel's first rodeo, not by a long shot. This drone has a very long, very shadowy history of popping up at some of the most critical moments in recent world events. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's a who's who of geopolitical hotspots. It first shows up in Afghanistan, probably keeping an eye on Iran. Then it's off to South Korea to monitor North Korea's nuclear program. And then, the big one. It was the eye in the sky for the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, streaming that live video right back to the White House Situation Room. Now, there was a huge setback when Iran managed to capture one, but that didn't stop it. We've even seen it in action over the Black Sea during the Ukraine war.
For nearly 2 decades, this thing has been a silent witness to history. Yeah, that whole Iran incident back in 2011 is still super controversial. Iran's story is that their electronic warfare guys basically hijacked the drone's GPS, spoofed the signal, and tricked it into landing itself nicely on their runway. The US version? Nope, just a simple technical malfunction. The real truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but either way, it was a massive intelligence loss for the US. Okay, so let's bring this all back to where we started, Caracas. We know what this drone can do now. So how exactly did it make the capture of President Maduro even possible? Well, it played 4 absolutely critical roles. First, for weeks leading up to the raid, it was flying nightly missions, building what's called a pattern of life on Maduro, his routines, his security detail, his travel routes. Second, during the raid itself, it was the all-seeing eye in the sky, giving commanders and the assault teams that live feed. Third, after initial airstrikes, it performed battle damage assessment, confirming that the targets were actually hit. And fourth, the whole time, its electronic ears were sniffing out Venezuelan radar and communication hubs for the F-35s to take out. Basically, it was the linchpin of the entire operation. The Sentinel's unique ability to just hang out, completely undetected deep inside enemy territory, it allowed the commanders to build a perfect, real-time picture of everything that was happening. And without that perfect picture, a crazy high-risk raid like this one, it would have been pretty much impossible. And that brings us to what might be the most incredible fact of all. The Sentinel is a 2-decade-old design. Think about that. In the world of military technology, 20 years is an eternity. And yet, here it is, still one of the most dominant, most feared intelligence assets on the entire planet. That sends a very, very powerful message. And that's really why this all matters. You see, sending in the RQ-170 isn't just a tactical move. It's a strategic message. It's the US telling any adversary, anywhere on the globe, we can fly into your most heavily defended airspace and we can watch everything you do. And you will never even know we're there. So from the deserts of Afghanistan to the streets of Caracas, the beast of Kandahar has been this silent, but absolutely decisive player in some of the biggest events of our time. It just goes to show you, sometimes the most powerful weapon is the one you never, ever see coming. Which leaves us with one last, kind of chilling question, right? If a 20-year-old drone is still this good, this critical to how modern battles are fought, what in the world does its secret successor look like? The one that's almost certainly already flying out there in the shadows. What can it do?